price of this independence has been near extinction, as we've hunted them down and killed them as vermin. There are less than 3,000 left in the wild. Now, without some drastic help from us, it could disappear forever. For a handful of people, like my old friend, wildlife conservationist Tony Fitzjohn, it's a race against time to breed and release African wild dogs back into the bush in the hope that they'll regroup and thrive. This is a first for me, to witness these fascinating creatures being released into their natural habitat.
What's the difference between the domestic dog's kind of need for us in their social hierarchy and the fact that these guys won't live with humans?
Well, they're funny, these guys. They've never really been domesticated by man because they refuse to accept a surrogate leader from outside of the pack structure.
Really?
So if an alpha dies, it's not Uncle Bert that takes over on one of the big dogs, it's his son. Becomes the alpha male, yeah.
Tony's about to release 8 dogs into the wild. It's a bit of an experiment. At one end of the clearing is a cage holding 6 males, and at the other end, another cage holds 2 females. The idea is to rack up the sexual tension.
They can't see each other.
That's important, is it?
I don't know. I'm playing a sort of titillation game.
They've never seen each other, or...
No.
Ever?
No.
Oh, right, cool. But then they've got the scent.
Yeah, but they've got the scent, they can hear each other, so we're going to see what happens. I mean, romance is not dead.
Little music, the right lighting.
Yes.
If all goes to plan, as soon as they're free, these boys and girls won't be able to keep their paws off each other. But first, Tony has to dart the dominant male with a sedative, so he can fit a radio collar. The collar should allow Tony to track the pack's progress after the release. The connection between these wild animals and my dogs dates back millions of years, but you can still clearly see the dog in them.
Is that jaw muscle? Is it? Is that for biting? Yeah. Yeah. Like a bull terrier or something. The body's all dog, the tail's unusual. It's sort of lean and quite bony, but very different head. Lovely ears.
Apparently, though, it's a mistake to try and handle a wild dog the same way you would a cocker spaniel.
Okay, they got snappy mouths, all right?
What?
Just in case, I'm not that good with the drugs.
As you
Press thank you to.
Oh, right, like that?
Yeah.
Seems a bit mean. But...
Yeah, you've got... Well, no. As long as you hold both ends up, they're okay.
Oh, like that? Yeah? Oh. Blimey, if I did this to Mary. Sorry, fella, it seems very undignified. There you go. Let's get you sorted.
These are the dogs that rejected humans. Even though Tony's raised and fed them from birth, unlike puppies or wolf cubs, they'll never be tamed. Now they're ready for the open spaces of the bush. But there's a complication. A lone female from an earlier release seems to want to join the boys. The trouble is, she's probably too old to follow them.
So this idea, what do I do with her? Do I dart her and take her back to camp and keep her as a freak in a cage?
No,
or do I give her another month of freedom, you know? Because I don't think she'll keep up with them.
Don't you?
We should probably go off with them and
die a natural death.
Die a dog's death.
That's her lot, isn't it?
I know.
Tony decides to leave the old girl alone and see what happens. Meanwhile, the collared male has regained consciousness.
Whoa!
Way.
At last, we're ready to let these dogs taste true freedom for the first time.
Right, what's going to happen?
If you don't mind waiting here,
Yeah.
you'll let these dogs out, but wait for me. I'll go round the corner, let the 2 girls out. As you see the 2 girls pitch up on the carcass, let the guys out straight away. Okay, just push the door open, it'll stay open, and then just move out of their way a bit so they can head around to whatever. Is that all right?
Yeah. Very exciting.
Give you a shout in a minute.
It's quite a big thing for me to get to let these fellas out. Really expectant faces. It's all right, any second now, fellas.
Martin, let them out.
Without batting an eyelid at me, the males head straight for the goat carcass that's been laid out to try and bring them all together.
Look at them. Look at them coming in now. They suddenly look completely different, don't they?
Yeah, far more alive.
The two young females are holding back, but apparently this caution is perfectly normal.
Those two females are going to be fine with these guys a bit later on. It'll take the rest of the day, I think. It's a sort of acceptance thing.
The big unknown is the outsider female. She's too old to get the boys' hormones racing, but she decides to dive in anyway. Big mistake.
Hey! 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 Hey!
That's her off. They were killing her, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
That's what's going to happen to her then. They were really...
We'll have to bring her back in again and give her a retirement home. No one's really going to accept her because she's not a breeding female. She's not part of that family. She doesn't have that bond.
So if anything, this experiment shows that there's nothing as strong as the pack, is there?
Nothing.
And that when it's put to the test out in the wild,
blood is thicker than
others
water.
not tolerated.
Yeah.
It's so incredibly different from everything else I've seen on this journey. These are the dogs which have made no concessions. To them, we're just another predator, the most dangerous one they've confronted in their 3 million years on the planet.
Now they've eaten, they're showing interest in the females. Corny. I feel incredibly lucky to have been a part of setting free these wild dogs. I have to say, of all the dogs I've met on this trip, these are the ones that are most different in that they weren't bothered by the human presence. They weren't even interested in it. They just sort of got on with what they were doing, and that's why they've become so endangered, because they don't come up to us with that sweet innocence. They're not bothered, however beautiful they are.
It's been an amazing journey. What have I learned? That next to humans, domestic dogs are the most successful animals on the planet, thanks to us. That they came to us out of the wilderness, and that we should respect and understand the wolf which still lives within every single one of them. There are lots of reasons why the whole man-dog thing has worked so well for so long, but perhaps the biggest is less to do with nature and more to do with us. I mean, all right, so maybe we are mistaking the instincts of a pack animal for unconditional love, but the bottom line is they make us feel good, and we love them, don't we? And perhaps that's all that counts.
Stay with us here on ETV for the very latest national and international news from the studios of ITN in London. That's followed at 10:20 by more of TV's Naughtiest Blunders. And just a reminder to tune in to U105 tomorrow morning from 6 for breakfast with Maurice J.